Welcome to another edition of the Sports One. And we are back. We got the full crew in the house. That is what it's all about. The Yankees, out of any team in the league, are the best equipped to handle a blow like this.
I think there is a higher power at play here. He's due law of averages. That dude is the ultimate scrub. It's trash. Yeah. Every person you have in there is fucking trash.
Next game, you're going to see a big performance. You can see it in the end of the game, and I'm just totally stoked and excited for this.
And we are back. Welcome to another edition, a Michael Butka edition of the Sports Board. Here on a Monday. Barnes, Tony, and Mr. Butka. How you fellas doing?
Good. I'm doing very well, Brian.
And
Stoked to be here, dude.
Special shout out to our veterans. Happy Veterans Day.
Happy Veterans Day. Speaking of veterans, also a shout out to my boy Luke Terrett, married this weekend. He's in the service, so I guess you can thank him for his service.
God
He
bless
doesn't
America.
really do a lot, though, dude.
Oh, come on. Tony. You had to put that one in there.
Dude.
But just quickly, because we were talking about before the show, the wedding breakdown. I mean, it sounded unbelievable.
Crazy, dude. Ceremony, church, 11 a.m. ceremony, earliest wedding I've ever been
Hammered
to.
before it started.
Dude. I had one beer before on the shuttle to the church.
Yeah.
Ceremony, beautiful, gorgeous church, cathedral-esque, the priest, the Eucharist, mass. That was great. And then reception, Rye Golf Club, the Witt Castle, wrap around 18th green. It was breathtaking. Beautiful day, the sun, the glasses, you're outside, the pasta stations, the sliders, the Bloody Marys, dude. Yeah, the shades were on all day, dude. Early wedding, someone's out the whole time.
Wow.
And then you go in, the main, the dancing, the drinking, the Chateaubriand.
Sounds like we're in France.
Dude, it was freaking awesome, dude.
Was there any like after party? Or everyone was just shopping.
After party back at the hotel, pizzas on deck.
Downtown Rye,
drinking,
the Marriott, or no?
Courtyard Rye.
Courtyard Rye.
Courtyard
I'm saying,
Rye.
like, was there other like places you could walk to, or is it kind of like
No. Kind of got on its
but
own.
nice facility, or
Oh, beautiful facility.
Yeah.
They had outdoor patio, fire pit. Fire pit wasn't working, but that was totally fine. They made the whole lobby to ourselves. It was a great time. TVs, talking, drinking, a little bit of gambling actually as well, dude.
Really?
CeeLo. You ever play CeeLo?
No.
3 dice.
Oh,
You roll it.
okay.
You get, you have a pair of numbers. And then
Uh-huh.
whatever that third number is your score. Right. So if
Gotcha.
I roll 2 4s and a 5, my number's 5.
5.
You gotta be, obviously a high number wins.
Gotcha.
You normally do like singles, or 5s, feeling crazy. And then 1 2 3 automatic loss, 4 5 6 automatic win, Brian.
Drink of the wedding.
Oh, it's tough, dude. I mean, I guess I had the most gin and tonics.
Gin and tonics.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, dude.
The tonic water. I don't know. Can you drink that by itself or no?
Tonic water?
Yeah.
Mm.
I think it's so disgusting.
I mean, I guess I
can see if it's
never
mixed,
tried, I guess.
But ooh,
Yeah, I mean,
like-
who would drink tonic water on their own though? It's crazy.
I mean, they sell, but I guess why do they sell it?
It's a
'Cause they're
mixer,
mixing it for the
exactly,
alcoholics.
dude. And it's great. The lime in there is awesome. But the Bloody Marys they had cocktail hour were they could have been spicier, but they were great.
And is there a difference for you when you're getting a mixed drink having that versus like just club soda or no?
Yeah, I think the tonic adds more flavor to it.
More flavor.
Especially, I think it pairs really well with gin. I wouldn't get. I know some people do vodka tonics.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I
But
don't like
gin,
vodka
so you
that
must
much, dude.
was it a little recovery day? Yes, sir. No, we don't have those.
No, I mean definitely like the morning actually. Breakfast was served. Dude.
Breakfast was a little rough or no?
My head was definitely. I was like a little bit. Like, oh, dude. But have the
spread?
eggs, the bacon. Yeah, like a full spread.
Yeah.
Hash browns, bagels, muffins, the OJ, dude. So that was great. Love that. The
That's
breakfast
awesome,
after,
man.
the recap,
Yeah.
during breakfast. Sick, dude.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, glad you had a good time.
Thank you very much,
And that's I love Westchester, honestly. It's awesome. And it's interesting, Michael. And I know your only team, I guess, in New York would be the Yankees. But I feel like I never hear you talk about New York. Are you a New York guy? I know you're always thinking about the palm trees in Southern California,
Wait,
but do you enjoy New York or no?
So.
Really?
Whoa.
Wow.
I mean,
Shots fired, I feel like.
it doesn't have the palm trees,
Yep.
That's right.
and that's kind of a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Southern Cal guy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to think, though. I forgot. Did you go to Yankee Stadium this year or no?
One time.
One time. And what?
It's so expensive, man. So expensive.
Who did you
those
go
tickets. I went with my entire program.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
Do you remember who they played?
The St. Louis Cardinals, August 31st.
Oh, nice. I'm trying to think. August 31st. Okay, so
Where
that
were
was
you,
right.
Brian?
No, that was, I think, when I just came back, no?
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
I don't keep track of you like that.
Came back
All
from
right,
California
dude.
the 21st of August, buddy.
Yeah, Michael, I feel like you seem to take with your comments. You like take issue when I'm like, jetting off places. I feel like
Yeah.
you're always making comments on the show
Yeah.
about that.
It's going for your job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get me a beach house? I mean, I think we should get you the beach
in
house.
Newport Beach, baby.
Because I will say, and I've said this many, many times, Michael, I am with you. I love Newport Beach and stuff, but I could never live there full time because I need to be in New York by my teams, like
Oh.
for part of the year at least. The winter, like I guess it's tough though because then the Rangers are playing. So do I really want to miss the whole Rangers season? I don't think so, Tony. Right?
No. Of course not.
Well, at least you'll be getting better weather over there.
Yeah, but
That's all I'm saying.
It's for me. It's always been about the sports. I have to say. So
Okay.
it's a priority, and like especially like I can't even fathom missing a whole Yankee season. Like being like I'll go to when they play the Angels. Like that's like to not be able to go to home games. That's tough.
That is really tough.
It is.
How did Dodger Stadium do when that walk-off grand slam happened?
Yeah, I mean it was I would say one of the worst feelings of my life.
What happened to the fans though?
Oh, I mean the stadium was shaking, so just to have to reflect
Like an earthquake?
and then, no, that's what it felt like. So yeah, it was brutal. And getting out of there, I mean the traffic.
Oh, I know.
Dude, unbelievable.
Were you getting chirped?
Not too much, but I have it like instilled in me. Like I'm just am not giving anybody anything.
Right.
So
Right,
you're, I mean, you're gonna just talk to yourself?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sorry.
What were you gonna say, Michael?
What time was your flight back here that time?
It was a midnight flight.
Okay,
Wow.
so you did get here till 8 o'clock almost.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yep. It
Wow.
was, but luckily
That's
I
so
slept. That
fucked
was the
up.
key. That was the key. But I think, don't you think, Tony? Because I know obviously you're Mr. New York yourself. I think Michael needs some more New York experience.
Yeah, I think so. I think
games.
some games. I think for sure.
yeah.
Also,
I've seen
what do you got, Michael?
the 9/11
Memorial.
I've seen
Yeah.
the Empire State Building. I mean,
Beautiful
I've been
stuff.
to the New World Trade Center. I went all the way up there.
That's nice, dude. I think
I've been
maybe
down in Times Square.
like I think maybe
Yeah.
see, time. I'm not a
I
big
know
fan
my
of Times
turn.
Square to be honest,
Really?
but I think maybe like this winter, you get in there for the winter season, snow on the ground, the trees up at Rock Center. Maybe you go see the
Yeah.
Christmas show and the Rockettes like that.
Go to the Garden.
Go to the Garden,
Yeah,
yeah,
but
Ranger
been there.
game. I mean, let's go.
You've been to the Garden for
Yeah.
what?
For the Lakers Knicks game
Lakers, Knicks, and when was that?
in February.
Of last year or
Of-
this year?
Yeah, I guess
This year. Okay. Wow.
so. And if I've seen the tree lighting at a Rockefeller,
Oh yeah,
I've seen the
nice.
tree lights on the Rockefeller.
Cool, dude.
It's-
You know where you haven't been though? I think Arthur Ave, right?
I think I've walked past it.
In the Bronx.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, like you got to go there, and it's interesting. I actually don't. I'm not familiar, Tony, with the Little Italy in New York. Like, have you been there like a lot or no?
Literally like once when I was a kid.
Once.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
Where is it? Like in relation?
I couldn't
to,
even tell
Yeah.
you.
Because like I feel like I don't know. Growing up, I thought, oh, Little Italy, New York, that's a big thing.
Ooh.
But to me, it feels like Arthur Ave is bigger.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess we've never. Let's see where we're at, dude. Little Italy, Broome Street, Lower Manhattan. Oh, it's by Canal Street. Okay.
Barnes.
Yes,
There's also a
Yes.
Little Italy in San Diego too.
I have been there. I went
nice-
to Benicoto or
Benny
Bencoto.
Cotto.
Really?
Benny Cotto?
Yeah, Bencoto. And it's like technically a chain, but it's different because it was made in Italy. Like I think that's where their location
Is
first.
it nice?
Oh yeah, really nice. Pasta, pick your sauce, pick your
Oh.
protein.
Oh, that sounds good.
Pick your sauce, pick your protein.
By Tribeca, Tony?
Yeah, Tribeca by Chinatown. It's very lower. It's on the Lower East Side.
So I'm trying to think, like, is that like kind of a hike from like Times Square?
I mean, you're not walking.
Yeah, it's probably like 5-6 miles, something like that.
I'd actually be very curious. I wish we had like a better map here because I mean, obviously that's like Lower East Side. Times Square is more Midtown. Yeah, dude. Maybe one day we'll take a trip.
Yeah,
down
I feel
there,
like
dude.
that seems like a where is DTV now? You know?
Oh yeah, dude. Right near the
Um,
Brooklyn Bridge. All right.
Okay. All right. So we got a reference point there. But yeah,
Yeah.
definitely would like to go there. But yeah, I think, Michael, I think you need some more New York experience because New York is great. Like, I would never want to live like in Manhattan, but to go there, go to a game, go to dinner, it is awesome. And it's so easy with the Metro North system as well. Right, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, listen, public transportation, huge.
But I don't want to take the bus for some reason. It's like I love the train, Tony, but for some reason I don't want to take the bus. I don't know what it is.
I've had to taking the bus from Staten Island is a pretty common way to get into the city sometimes. And it does kind of suck, dude.
But for some reason, I don't know if it's just because, like, oh, we're like on the way to the game, couple pops.
Maybe.
Like, but I feel like I like love the train.
Yeah, no, exactly. The train is definitely more. I feel like when I took the bus, it's always like people are like falling asleep on the bus. And that's like, that's the thing. Like, no one really talks. It's dark. It's quiet. And it's like, yeah, it's like the train's way more.
Yeah, like let's
rowdy,
go.
dude.
Obviously, we'll experience that ourselves on the 6th against Michael's Pittsburgh
Penguins. That's right.
You know we're going to that, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, December 6th at the Garden.
That's
Penguins,
right.
Rangers.
My calendar.
Yeah,
Awesome.
we're
Have fun.
pumped. I feel like you're out on the Penguins, Michael, huh? Like you almost might be a Rangers fan, though?
I don't pay attention to hockey much, man, because I've got the Huskies, man.
Wow.
It feels
I've
like
got the Steelers.
But are the Huskies for you, that like out of
UConn.
every team, though, I'm saying that you like, that's number one for you at this point? Whoa.
2.
What's one?
Pittsburgh, obviously.
The Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't
were you
expect that.
thinking UConn?
I would think you could have
Hurley?
won.
Like,
Yeah, dude.
I thought
That
Hurley
guy.
would put it over the edge, honestly.
That guy.
Are you a big Tomlin guy?
I am 60-40 with him.
Okay, and it's like you respect that, it's always like they have a strong season, but they have trouble getting over the hump, and you're annoyed by that.
And I thought that a big watch party last year in Hermosa Beach, California, last year when we beat the Rams. A lot of Pittsburgh fans there,
Yeah, Pittsburgh fans travel. That's for
Yes.
sure.
They definitely
Especially in California, man.
And speaking of the Steelers, there's a lot of football we're going to talk to. But before we do that, Tony, if you could just run through the comments here.
Absolutely.
By the way, everybody, Thursday, episode 900. Can you believe it?
Mark your calendars.
I know
don't believe
Josh
it, dude.
B had his calendar circled.
Wow.
already.
Absolutely, dude. The full circle. Dude.
Yes, the full circle.
So let's go here now. We actually have Michael Buckter, commenting first early and often. Shout out to Kev Dew and Josh B, wherever in the world they are. And then he says, Chiefs keep on getting so damn lucky. Broncos are chokers. That was a really crazy play. Excuse me. I'm sure we'll break it down. Chiefs are no match for the Lions, he says, which is kind of interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. Josh B, what's up, fam? Let's have a weekend.
Josh B.
Hashtag TCA, hashtag Sportsport, hashtag DTV. And he says, Buckta, my mother in the house says, good morning, fellas. Kev Dude says, let's go. We want the smoke. Shout out to my guy, Buckta, dude.
Kev Dude.
Yeah.
Kev Dude.
Kev Dude.
Dave Dude.
Good to see you on the set. Michael Buckta says, one day I would love to go to a Giants Yankees game or Dodgers game in San Francisco, stay in Pebble Beach, then drive straight to Santa Monica for the week, baby.
Right?
Sounds great.
Wow.
Right,
The
Barnes?
4-day
Right.
trip to California really doesn't feel short at all.
Yeah, I'm right.
I guess-
Yeah.
I
Because
guess
of
so.
the time change. That's why.
Oh,
Time
that's
change,
an excellent point
That
here.
is nice. It's a nice
And then
advantage.
my mother here says, Little Italy used to be a larger area. Now it's one block. Chinese took over a lot. Chinatown is neighboring
Brooklyn,
it.
okay.
It's near the Brooklyn Bridge.
So
Yeah.
a little out of the way, Brooklyn, right?
Yeah. It's actually funny. My brother used to go to NYU in Metro Tech, which is in Brooklyn, right near the Brooklyn Bridge. And I remember a few times we've walked over visiting him to go to Chinatown, the dumplings. But I guess-
Unreal.
Oh yeah, dude.
Well, but you know what's interesting with that? Because isn't technically dumplings is not actually Chinese food like in China? Is that true? Like, haven't you heard that? Like the Chinese food in here is like Americanized or something.
Right. No, I mean I'm very well aware of that
Yeah,
it is, but I'm pretty
yet
sure like
those places still all have the American version of the food.
what?
Like in China.
In Chinatown. Oh yeah. I guess. Well, I mean, I don't know about the dumplings thing though, because I feel like maybe they like actually in China they definitely have dumplings. I think it's called something different. I know I've seen places have gyozas, which is basically a dumpling, but
Yeah, Trader Joe's actually sells frozen gyoza.
oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, I never understood it because I mean, obviously we talk about it all the time. Like the Chinese food here is so good. Like, why?
So good.
How good? Like the other one seems so beat. Like, because my sister went to China.
Oh, really?
Something with school, and she like said like the food was like awful. Like,
Oh my God,
nothing
really?
like the Rangoon, the
General
lo
So, dude,
Yeah,
where's the general?
Yeah. And of course, dumplings are in China. Your mother says best Chinese food. So we could talk food forever, but I think instead, Tony, let's talk about the world of the National Football League.
He wants Jefferson, climbs the ladder. Oh my goodness! Justin Jefferson, the catch of his life.
Burrow fires, intercepted, picked off at a pick six. Minka Fitzpatrick, an absolute ball hawk.
Niners twist up front and get to Tagovailoa. Bosa again. Mahomes escaping on the move, stops, spins, flips it forward for the touchdown.
Stop it.
Aaron Jones. Oh, what a tackle! Quincy Williams with a pile driver.
All right. So what a day in the National Football League yesterday. We got started bright and early in Munich as we saw the Panthers, as Tony would say, edge out the Giants 20-17, a late fumble by Tyrone Tracy, giving the Panthers the win here and kicking a game-winning field goal in overtime. And really, you have to say the star of this game for Carolina, Chuba Hubbard, 28 carries, 153 yards, just got a big 3-year extension from the Panthers and is clearly their best player. And with Andy Dalton injured, they've been going with Bryce Young. He had another pedestrian game, but it was good enough to win yesterday, 15-25, a touchdown and no picks and only sacked once. But the story, Hubbard, the 153 rushing yards, 5.5 yards per carry. I mean, just an absolute vintage performance for him. It's just for the Giants, it seems like as the weeks go on, the years go on, it's just the same thing, that Daniel Jones is not good enough. They don't have all the right pieces in place. And while there are certainly talented players, on this roster, there's just not enough talent. And I think it starts with the top down. And I know he had a good run, obviously, with those 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. But I've kind of thought for a while here, maybe John Mara is the problem because he's not bringing in the right guys. And, when Dable and Shane came in, the combination from Buffalo, there was a lot of waxing poetic, about that combination. But clearly it's not working as the Giants are now 2-8 and actually in position for the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. So, which I think would be to their benefit. And I think a couple of weeks ago, Mara had come out and said that, that Dable and Shane were safe. I don't know how they could be safe. And I know fans are sick of rebuilding. And I think there is a parallel here to what's going on with the Jets. But I think despite it always feeling like a rebuild, despite it always feeling like you're changing coaches, changing general managers, changing quarterbacks, well, not really quarterbacks because Jones has actually been here for 6 years, but you get the point. I think you have to, Tony. I don't think you can keep these guys in place. I think all 3, Jones, Shane, and Dable, have to go. And I know it's painful for fans to think about rebuild, but put the right guys in there. You can't put lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, no, I mean, you can only really make those excuses for like Dable for so long. I mean, I get it. Like Jones, he came into Jones, like he had to figure out like that wasn't necessarily his drafted quarterback. But at the end of the day, like they did re-sign him. They've been going with him. So it's like clearly that decision to do that was the wrong one. And like you said, I mean, there's no replacing just one at this point. You have to kind of clear house. And it's just like, I understand. I know some Giants fans were calling into Rick and Dave this morning and saying like, oh, like, Dable's been still the best coach we've had in the last like 8 to 10 years, and it's like understandable, but it's just, I mean, you can't just have him sit around, dude. You really can't. You need like new blood in there, like whatever he's doing. Like, yes, maybe he is the best coach you've had recently, but like that doesn't really say much.
No,
no,
because don't you think too? Like I said, this is a flawed team, a flawed organization right now. But you're telling me they can't do better than 2-8? And can't beat the Carolina Panthers?
I mean, I think if they have a different coach in there, they do have a better record, And I think if they have a different quarterback in there, they definitely have a better record, So it's like, I think the writing's on the wall at this point. There's only one way to fix this team. And I mean, they definitely freaking need it, dude. So.
Yeah. I don't see how any fan of this team could not want that. And it is interesting though, because I've mentioned it a lot. There's a lot of talk about Belichick, especially if you get the number 1 pick. But if it was you, would you favor that, or would you favor a guy who most likely, if it's not that, would maybe be a first-time NFL head coach?
I feel like if you're in the Giants, I guess, scenario, I mean, I would go for a newer head coach.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I mean, I understand like Belichick, like that's great and everything, but I mean, I don't know. It just seems like another fucking sideshow coming to New York, dude.
Yeah.
Like literally like Rodgers.
Mhm.
And I mean, obviously, like you want like the parallels there, like 2 guys on the later parts of their careers, obviously, like have those accolades, MVP, Super Bowls, what have you.
Yeah.
But it's just like, you think Belichick's gonna come in here, start up something brand new, like with a new generation of players, like these younger players, which maybe kind of already seems like he doesn't really connect with. Like, is that really going to get you a Super Bowl?
Yeah.
And then also, it's like at this point too, if you're the Giants, like I feel like you can think more long term, right? Because you've had a Super Bowl, like more recent than the Jets, for example. So it's like, you can afford to be like, okay, we're gonna like clean house, start from the ground, and build up towards 2 Super Bowls in 5 years or whatever, like you can build that back up. So I don't think they're in a need to be like, oh, let's get the old guy to come in for a few years, get a championship, and then we can figure it out after that.
It wouldn't even be a championship.
There wouldn't
obviously.
be.
It would be like, oh yeah, he could use us, or he could get the win record.
Yeah,
and
like,
he'd have his dream of being the coach of the Giants, but then he leaves and we have no future. Or we could hire a guy that could be here for 15, 20 years.
Exactly, dude. And again, like new blood, like you want to go draft Archie Manning, like get a young coach that'll understand like what he's going through, like
And what do you think? Because a lot of fans, the parallels, they feel like it's Eli 2.0 with Archie. I mean, but he's not eligible this year, so I still think I know they want that. I don't think you could wait. I think you have to pick somebody this year.
I mean, that'll be. I mean, I don't know what's the draft class like this year. Do you know? Is anyone?
Well, you got Shadur Sanders, you got Quinn Ewers. I know Beck is another quarterback that's out there. I'm trying to think of who else. Michael,
Will Howard, I think.
Will Howard from Ohio State as well. There's a lot of different guys out there. So I just think just pick the right guy. Like I know you're nervous, like, oh, we're not, just pick the right guy.
Yeah, no, I totally agree at that point. I mean, like maybe don't wait then for Archie. You do get the first, if you end up getting that pick, like you're gonna have to pull trig, right?
Yeah, you have to.
Like you have to
with a new coach, a new general manager, and just do it right and just be patient.
I will say though, it's gonna be effed up that if that does happen, and they even like, let's say they draft high, whatever it looks like they're gonna do well, like people are still gonna be like, oh, we should have waited for Archie. I guarantee you. I mean, Giants
Archie
fans,
a star.
Archie's gonna be a star, dude. We should wait for him. But it's like, what are you out of your fucking mind?
I mean, I don't even know if what if it was though you could get 3 or 4 first rounders and like move down to like 7 or 8, like for the first pick. Would you do it or no?
The following year, you mean?
So no, like this year, like trade out of the number 1 pick. I just feel like you have the number 1 pick. It's so hard to get that number 1 pick.
Right.
Should you really trade it? I mean,
that's
I know
what I mean.
Like
if you would
for the Bears, because they fleeced Carolina, obviously.
Yeah, that's for sure. But I mean, I guess if I don't know,
I think it's too much waiting.
Too much.
We waited with Jones.
Too much waiting. Too much risk.
Shane.
Like let's
just go.
Exactly, dude. Just get a quarterback now. Just develop him. Just draft well. All right.
Yeah,
you don't need a Manning. Okay, dude. Like
but they're set on that.
They are. Do they fucking love that storyline?
Mara is obsessed with that too.
Absolutely.
Michael, what were you gonna add here?
So keep in mind, 4 out of the 8 Giants losses have been in tightly close games.
Right.
And I'm just saying, the Giants easily could have been a 6-4 team. Easily.
Now, but isn't that indicative of typically a team that has a lot of problems? They're losing close games because they're not good enough.
I'm just saying that if Daniel Jones was never drafted and the Giants got like some highly prospect quarterback, I think it'd be a different story.
Yeah. No, you're right. And I remember draft night. I remember thinking it was a joke. That's for sure.
What
So,
a disappointment that was, dude.
Yeah.
Dwayne Haskins, honestly.
Because they were talking about getting him at 22. And I was like, okay, at 22, that makes sense. But you're going to take him at 6 when,
why?
Just because he sounds like Eli Manning. So that was
dude.
another part.
Yeah. He went to the
carries-
Manning camp, dude. Yeah.
Manning's offensive coordinator, like all that stuff. So nonsense.
It is nonsense, dude.
It is interesting with Carolina, though, what they're going to do, even though despite winning this game, they're still going to have a top pick. And like Bryce Young doesn't look good, and he didn't have a great game here. The running game carried them, but it is interesting what they do because they have Dave Canales, who, coached up Baker Mayfield in Tampa last year as their head coach. This is his first season. Obviously, they've had a couple wins here recently. If you're them, I mean, is it like, do you have to give Bryce another year? I mean, you traded like a couple years of draft picks to get him.
Yeah. I mean, again, it depends on, I guess, what are you going to do? Draft another quarterback, dude?
You could, but like, you know what I mean? Like, remember the Cardinals with Kyler Murray? They moved down right away from Josh Rosen. Same type of thing.
But that's not, I mean, I guess it's working out more now.
Right.
But I think the fact of the matter still is, like, I don't know, dude, like, you gotta be better at drafting a quarterback. Like,
yeah. So, but I'm saying from what you've seen, you would just say, I mean, we probably should just draft somebody else.
How much trade value you think you can get for Young?
I think so you traded everything for him, and I think you could get like a 6th rounder, a 5th rounder, maybe. Like, but if he's bad,
but then
right?
Yeah, I guess so.
And you have this coach who is good at developing quarterbacks. I know he's not doing it with this guy, but I guess also, I mean, there is 7 games left in the season, so see how he plays.
Yeah.
And then make a determination.
But also, like, I don't know, not for nothing too, like he coached up Baker in Tampa.
Yeah.
Like, that's like when Baker is years into his like professional quarterback career,
right.
And
patience
for sure.
Yeah.
But he's someone who's been humbled as well. Like, I don't know, man. I mean, has this guy coached up any other quarterback?
I think he might have been in Seattle with Geno before that. Actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right. Well, but also again, the guy by the time he gets to Seattle,
couple years,
been around the block.
Yeah. So I guess this stretch run is important, but I think, I mean, it is, there is a sense of, I know it's like the Giants. I think they're better off losing. Panthers have had #1 pick. So it's just now I think it's very important for them. Who's part of your future? Obviously Hubbard is, even though they took Brooks in the draft last year, but give him that extension. And he's a really strong runner. So
clearly
that is a guy that's going to be a vocal part of your offense. What were you going to say, Michael?
Can we talk about that Pittsburgh win?
Oh,
you know what? Just for you, Michael.
Just this time.
I was going in order here, but we will jump to that game here. So the Steelers 28-27, erasing a third quarter 10-point deficit here. Russell Wilson now 3-0 as the Pittsburgh Steelers starting quarterback. Didn't have a great game, but threw 3 touchdowns, had 1 pick, sacked 3 times, but was only 14-28 for 195.
Actually, he was 15 out of 29.
This is according to ESPN.com. But different places could have different things.
I mean, I see ESPN 14-28.
George Pickens led the way, 5 receptions, 91 yards, and a touchdown. Mike Williams, the former Jet, making his Steeler debut, also had a 32-yard touchdown. And Pat Freiermuth, a Tony favorite or no?
That's right.
Everybody went off
3 for 17 in the score. They
went
ran the ball well, too, 140 yards on the ground. Jalen Warren kind of getting his most action of the year, 14 for 66, so a good switch up from Najee Harris, who had been running great this year, did have a touchdown, but was bottled up yesterday, 2.5 yards per carry. So this was just a back and forth, down to the wire. They get the Commanders late to jump off sides to ice the game, after they had scored that late touchdown. So the Steelers are a team, we've kind of been talking about all year, that could be potentially underrated. Obviously 7-2 is all you could have asked for coming into this season. And it's interesting, even though it wasn't a vintage Russell Wilson game yesterday, it seems like that move has worked out. And even when we questioned it.
Yeah, no, I mean, you're totally right, dude. I mean, I think that pass to Mike Williams, by the way, was just beautiful, on a rope, dime, perfect. And I mean, like you said, he's not like jumping off the page here, but he's just getting a team win, at big moments. He's putting the ball where he needs to in those big spots, dude. In third down conversions, when he's in the red zone, he's making good decisions under pressure. He's doing things like any other good veteran quarterback can bring to a team, right?
Mhm.
And I think furthermore, I mean, definitely, I'm sure it helps Justin Fields. I mean, they always, I think every game cut to the both of them on the sideline. They're talking, tablets out, laughing, whatever. Like you anticipate Fields is learning a ton from Wilson. So it seems like everything in terms of bringing Russell Wilson in is really working out for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I was
I agree.
listening to the guys on NFL radio this morning, and they were kind of, echoing those sentiments, and that because all of the players, given how long he's been in that position, highly respect Mike Tomlin. It's a different scenario with Russell Wilson when he's in Denver and he has Nathaniel Hackett and it's a shit show. And then he has Sean Payton and he hates him. So the fact that Mike Tomlin is behind Russell Wilson has given him the ability to gain respect from his teammates.
Yeah.
And it's like almost reminding you, and yes, he's not the same, but it's almost reminding you of the presence that he had in Seattle.
Yeah. And that's a great point, Brian. I mean, the fact that Mike Tomlin is behind him.
Yeah.
Let's not forget, like, first couple of weeks, Russ didn't play. Fields looking good.
Yeah.
When Russ is healthy, he's starting. And that's what Mike Tomlin said. And there you go. That's the respect that now Wilson has with the rest of the team.
Honestly, I think Russell Wilson is a difference here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I think, Fields' his upside, the athleticism, it's exciting. He could take off for 70 yards. But I think at this point in his career, Russell Wilson is still a better thrower of the football.
Yep. Yeah, like he can throw the ball more deeper than Fields can.
Yeah.
Way more deeper.
Yeah, definitely.
So this is interesting, and it's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out down the stretch, where the Steelers find themselves. And obviously, it's been a while, 8 seasons, Michael, since they've won a playoff game. And they have a big game coming up on Sunday, 1:00, hosting the Ravens. So that is going to be a tremendous matchup.
That should be a later game, man.
They do that sometimes. I don't know.
The game should be a later game, honestly.
1:00?
It is 1:00.
I love
think
that.
it was it's classic, but I think
like a later
also
game.
They're switching it up because there was a time where it's like both of their games would always be on Sunday Night Football, like where they would do that.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Now they've kind of put it more in the 1:00, time slot.
See, I like that.
Well, I think it's good for all the fans. I mean, this is a rivalry game because these night games, not everybody could go. 1:00, everyone can go.
It's also it's great for, and then Hansen gets like this huge game for red zone, jacked up, dude. The quad box, like 1:00.
I'm excited for that. There's a couple good games next week, including Chiefs and Bills as well. So it's going to be great.
I just want to ask both of you, what are your predictions for the Steelers Ravens game next week?
So tough, so early. But if I had to say, I think Pittsburgh is going to do it. But like every other game that they've played against one another, it's probably going to come down to the last possession. Yeah. It's probably going to be like a 14-13, a 17-14, a 19-16, something like that.
You think low scoring almost like
it
that
always
too?
is. It always is. And I know the Ravens defense hasn't been the Ravens defense,
shoddy.
but I think this matchup is just played differently than any other matchup for both of these teams.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know, man. I mean, I look at obviously the score, Ravens Bengals, right? High scoring.
It's very
this
high
game, Steelers Commanders, high scoring, close. I think it's gonna be something like that. And
I think it'll be.
What do you got, Michael?
Those games have always been about a bloodbath.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
totally, dude. Go ahead.
I do think Pittsburgh will end up coming away with it. Give me Pittsburgh 17, Baltimore 13.
Oh,
wow.
Man,
okay.
Dude.
Yeah, I know what you're saying though, because it doesn't seem like it's trending that way, but
just because
it just seems like it just always ends up happening that way. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, I can see that. Again, like if you want to go with history, that's fine.
You're a historian, Tony. I thought
I am somewhat of a historian, certainly.
Historic guy, right there.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I do like taking the Steelers. I would say it's higher scoring though. I think it's like maybe 31-28 or something like that.
Okay, but again, one possession.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Wire, outcome never solidly in hand.
I mean, I think Watt this weekend surprisingly quiet against the Commanders.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
I know Fitzpatrick did well. I think he had 4 tackles in the day, but
3 sacks of Jaden Daniels. And speaking of that. For the Steelers defense, which is considered one of the best in the league, 27 points, that's a lot to give up. But at the same time, the numbers offensively for Washington don't pop off the page. Probably one of their worst offensive games, especially from Jaden Daniels' point of view. Only 17 to 34, so that's only 50% completion, no touchdowns. McLaurin had a nice game, 5 for 113. But do you think, the Commanders have been rolling, but does a game like this, and I know it's, a 1-point victory for the Steelers here, but does it kind of give you a thought that maybe, listen, they already have 7 wins, Commanders probably a lock to win at least 10. But like when it comes down to the nitty gritty playoff games, that Washington might not be ready just yet.
I guess so. Listen, Jane Daniels is so young, dude. Like, he's never experienced that before. So it's like, I feel like time and time again, when you see a team like that, I guess you can use the Texans as probably the most recent example, that has that good quarterback that gets to the playoffs. And eventually, as you get deeper into the playoffs, you get against better teams. Obviously, the best of the best are playing. Those little things start to show in your mistakes or decision-making or whatever. And obviously inexperience is one of those things that gets kind of brought to light. So perhaps, but I think they're still going to be competitive. They're going to certainly, make probably some type of upset, I would imagine, in the playoffs.
So you think you could see them winning wild card weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. Dude.
Guys,
absolutely.
Who'd you got winning the Thursday night? The Commies or the Eagles?
So first thoughts. So tough, but I just feel like I have a tough time. Saquon, he's just been so impressive, like that. I'm kind of thinking maybe the Eagles, but it's going to be very close, I think.
Yeah.
I guess so. I don't know, man. I think that would be one of those games where the Commies kind of rise up a little bit, I think.
And
I think the Eagles this weekend,
it's Dallas.
Dallas,
it's
5 turnovers. Like, the defense was on top of it.
CeeDee Lamb getting blinded by the sun.
Blinded by, and
imagine if you had an anytime touchdown with CeDee Lamb. That would be fun, right?
Wow, dude.
Shit.
And I don't know. I just think that they would be due for a clunker.
Yeah, that's true.
Eagles,
that's
so,
true. But
whatever.
Saquon's been impressive. Few comments here before we keep moving along. Ernie from Kearney says, butt gut. Broncos and Panthers covered, baby. And then
Ernie, what's up?
Midnight Raccoon Gamer 10, also known as Angelo, says, what's good, guys? It's Angelo. Josh B saying G-Lo. And then Angelo also saying the Giants sold the game. And Josh saying, Ernie, what's up? And then he says, Kampai, what's good? Late field goal, Ravens money line, Eagles by a tutty, Tony. How about the Eagles by a tutty, huh?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy. I don't know, man.
Question.
We'll see about that.
Yes.
What do you got?
Where is my man Poopa Barlow at?
I don't even know who that is.
Oh yeah, remember that guy?
Yeah, he was in the comments.
But they don't know who he actually is. So I don't know.
He's probably an undercover.
He's one of those drifters, just coming in and out,
swinging in and out.
Freaking, yeah, exactly.
Poop Barlow.
Wherever
you are, Poop Barlow.
Moving along here, don't need to spend too much time on this, but a complete disaster in Chicago. Patriots win 19-3. A lot of talk on NFL radio this morning that the Bears kind of blew it. I know we were talking about them, fleecing the Panthers here, but the fact that going into this year, they keep Matt Eberflus, and it just, at this point, I think he's lost his last 19 road Sunday games, whatever the stat is. It just seems like it's obvious he's not the guy. The offensive coordinator, Shane Waldron, who was in Seattle before, also doesn't appear to be the guy. So it's like now you have to reset. So it feels like very quickly this season is turning into the waste for the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like, obviously 3 points is indicative of that. Caleb Williams, I think, had 140, I think, through the air, something like that. Nothing great. And I don't know. I feel like you watching this game, and anytime I turn to it, it's like 3 and outs for the Bears.
They're playing the Patriots.
They're playing the Patriots, dude. And your third down efficiency was horrible. I think you were 1 for 12 or 1 for 11 on third downs. So it's like obviously you're not getting anything going offensively. Like, what are we doing here? I don't know, dude. I guess if you want to chalk it up to coaching, let's call it that. What do you think about Williams, though?
But I think let's give him that
couple years,
young, innovative
coach.
Yeah, because he's had some good games this year.
Yeah.
But I just think that's Eberflus. Come on. There was no reason we have to have him as our coach. And especially they had won in that run late in the season, but that was with Justin Fields, who's no longer here.
Yeah.
So it seemed like that was one of those things. Maybe they didn't want to pay 2 coaches, whatever it is, but it seems like they might be paying for it because I think they're going to end up, not having nearly as good of a record as they could. They're still 4-5, but they have lost 3 straight games, including that Hail Mary game. So going to be interested to see what they do moving forward. The Patriots pick up the win here. Drake May was okay.
What do you think about Drake May future?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's looked okay, right? I mean, I think we need to see more. But they're an interesting scenario because like Mayo, what's the deal there?
Right.
But I think this offseason is big. How they rebuild this roster. I think though, if you do put good pieces around Drake May, I think he'll be pretty solid. I don't know if he's going to be a star, but I think he could be solid.
Right. And Mayo, first time head coach, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's something where it's like a couple years.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
Exactly. So that'll be interesting. And my favorite pick going into this week was the Bills. They covered by 10 here.
Let's go, baby.
30-20 win in Indianapolis. Started off with a pick 6 on their end. So the defense getting the job done. And it was impressive. I think, they win this road game. Josh Allen was not great. 2 picks. Threw for 280, but was 22 of 37. Ran the ball for 50 yards and a score. James Cook had a solid game too, 19 for 80 and a score. And Mac Hollins, the leading receiver. But this Bills team has just been rolling. And I knew coming into this game that there was no way that they were going to lose to Joe Flacco and the Colts. And I know Jonathan Taylor had a great game on the ground, 114, 5.4 yards per carry. And Flacco, if you take away the interceptions, which obviously you can't, but, move the ball, 272, 2 scores, but 3 picks, 4 sacks, not going to get the job done. And I just had to ask the question. I mean, at 4-6, and they're saying that the rest of the year Flacco's going to be the quarterback. What the hell are the Colts doing?
I think that's really dumb. I mean, we spoke about it too. I mean, like last week against Minnesota, we were like, all right, well, Flacco's been doing this thing where he's like the guy off the couch, comes in, throws a few touchdown passes, but like at what point is that going to stop? Because he is going to show his age or whatever, dude.
Yeah.
And I mean, the last 2 weeks, that's exactly what we saw. So like that's, I would imagine, the start of the end of Flacco. I mean, is probably what we're watching, which again, I mean, that just happens. The guy has had a great career. He's had some magic the past couple seasons as well. He's still getting out there and playing, like you said, moving the ball really well, but against a great defense with a solid secondary and a good, rush up front. I mean, this is what you're going to be seeing probably.
Yeah. And it's like it worked in Cleveland last year because he had a very strong supporting cast, not as strong here in Indy. So it just seems like it's not going to happen. And if they don't want to use Anthony Richardson or want him to be their future quarterback, that's fine. But in a season where you're not going to go to the playoffs, you might as well just see. And if he does play well and you still don't want him, that's only going to improve his trade value.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. And again, like also an example too, like he has Joe Flacco, like at his fingertips. Like, let him get in there and learn and get the most experience, like, actual, like, real live play, So I don't know. It's very odd that Flacco is going to be the starter. Do you think Richardson maybe not 100%? I mean, he's been struggling with injuries.
I think there's a problem, like a locker room problem there, and the coaching staff doesn't like his work ethic. That's the kind of things that I'm gathering, But it's like, roll with it at this point.
Yeah, I guess so, right? I mean, at least figure it out. Like, don't you want to figure it out?
Yeah.
Like, do you think that the 2 people would be able to sit in a room and be like, all right, it's like, figure this, how to make it work? Like, how to make this work?
It's like, or they could just, debate over it for 6 years like Daniel Jones. I mean, that's
oh my God,
one or the other.
Dude. And something like work ethic too. Like, what? Come on.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
like,
he hadn't been playing well, but I still think see it out. And I mean, if you're not going to make the playoffs, get a good draft pick. I think that just makes too much sense. And then we had Angelo saying we need to build about Danny Dimes.
Yeah, they're Giants fans.
And then he says, I just want someone to say, Ernie, you were right. Caleb ain't it, and the Bears are still trash. Go Pack Ghost. He's like, there's a little pack there. And listen, I understand the trepidation with Williams, but I want to see him with like a really good head coach and just a better team. And I think the Bears can do that, but obviously it starts with getting rid of Matt Eberflus. Michael Buckta says, Poop Barlow, where you at?
Yeah,
shout out to you wherever in the universe you are. So moving along, how about the Chiefs 9-0, blocking a kick to win this game?
So crazy.
16-14 against Denver. So every week it seems like we're talking about the Chiefs, the big number, not being able to cover it, but yet somehow still winning. What do you make of this? I mean, it's like, obviously this was a struggle against the Denver team.
Right.
The Chiefs, I mean, being the only undefeated team in the league, feel like they're a lot better than, but yet it's a tight game where if they don't get a block kick, they lose. So, I mean, what do you take away from the victory here?
I mean, it's so crazy. I mean, we talk about it every week. It's just this Chiefs team just plays every team each week, like one at a time, you know, and they play to win or to beat that team. It just seems like any team that they play, whether they're really good, they play up, and if they're bad, they kind of play down. You know, I don't know. It's just really weird, dude. But I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, they're winning these games, and the blocked field goal, it's definitely like one of the more dramatic victories. I'd say the most dramatic victory we've seen out of them this year. I would say, and I mean, I mean, again, like Patrick Mahomes is like, oh, maybe but no, I mean, he's still 266 through the air, 28-42, you know, a passing touchdown. You know, it's not numbers to jump off the page, but he's also not doing anything bad, you know. Travis Kelce, I guess maybe a little bit of light work there. The running game could have done a little bit better on the ground. I don't know. I mean, in terms of the Chiefs, I mean, the Broncos, maybe just Bo Nix is doing better, you know, I guess. But I don't know, dude. It really is. It's like a conundrum over there in Kansas City.
But like is it though? Because we talk about this every year. Obviously, they're going for 3 Super Bowls in a row. But is it like, can you not even pay attention to it? Because it's like, well, you want to go play them in the playoffs? I mean, see how that works out for you.
Exactly. It's like, oh, we're saying, oh, dude, the Bills seem like they're so much better, but then they're gonna play the Bills, and it's like probably gonna lose, dude.
Because I feel like going into the playoffs last couple of years, you've kind of had the mindset the Bills will get the job done. But right now, if you had to decide right now, you would go with the Chiefs or no?
Yeah, probably. Again, I would think that, oh, the Bills look like they're a better team, stronger.
Yeah.
You know, like they could score more. Exactly. But I mean, again, like Chiefs are undefeated. So Chiefs, dude.
Yeah. And it's interesting. A couple more from Ernie here, calling the Chiefs the worst 9-0 team in history, LOL. So a little strong in there.
Which is so funny.
And then he also says, you won't another great college quarterback room by Chicago, LML. Listen, I am no way am a Caleb Williams, advocate or anything, but I just feel like, how can we make that call right now? I think there are things that point to potentially that happening, but like I said, with the current regime there, I don't think we can make that call. And this offseason and next year with the new coach, most likely, I think is going to be an important year. What he does then we can make a determination. But would you agree, Tony, that right now, hard to really tell?
Yeah. I mean, we talk about all the time, these young quarterbacks, first years in, why are they on short leashes, give them time to develop. So I agree with you there, but I don't know, bro. I mean, out of all these quarterbacks, May, Williams, Richardson, I guess you can want to throw Justin Fields in there, you can. But all these young quarterbacks that are still finding their ways, like who do you think is going to be like the outlier to be like, I'm going to start to
mention his name, but I mean, I feel of all those guys from the last 2 drafts that Daniels is the best guy.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know.
Well, like I'm saying, really all these like struggling guys, like the guys that are still finding their way.
I think Richardson, probably sucks, but again, let's let him play, and also he might need to change the scenery. Who knows? But I do think that Williams and May, I think, are going to be pretty good. But I think Jaden Daniels will probably be a lot better. Yeah. Wouldn't be surprised if May and Williams are kind of just above middle of the road quarterbacks, maybe. Mm-hmm. But I would say Jaden Daniels will most likely end up separating himself from what we've seen. Right. And obviously that could change, but that's kind of how I feel. What about you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I guess if you're including Daniels, I mean, how could you not? But out of those, the few that we've been talking about struggling, I mean, I want to think Anthony Richardson honestly could figure it out.
The athleticism,
yeah, dude. And the injury too to start off, his career with, it's always kind of tough.
Abandon that he plays with as well.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he'll figure it out, and I could see honestly, like almost like a Josh Allen-esque turn pivot.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that. And we didn't mention Bo Nix, but in this game he actually played pretty well. 22 of 30, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. So, I think he's going to be, again, solid for them, but obviously the whole thing will come down to, if he can kind of take a next step, and he is 24. So the window there is slightly shorter than with some of these other guys that we're talking about. And on the other side of things here, Mahomes, 28 of 42, a touchdown, no interceptions, sacked 4 times, but easily probably the worst start of his career in terms of numbers. But you're 9-0, so I don't think there's really too much to be concerned about.
Right.
And Travis
I mean-
Kelce's production has increased in recent weeks. Kareem Hunt has done a good job filling in for Pacheco, who's going to come back soon. And DeAndre Hopkins, I think, has made a solid impact. And I think that's going to be huge come playoff time. You need a late drive, and you could throw it up to Hopkins in the end zone.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to pay huge dividends. Any thoughts here, Michael? I mean, what do you think about the Chiefs? 9-0, but kind of hanging on by a thread in terms of playing with fire and potentially losing some of these games.
Well, I just gotta say, this is not a 9-0 team because Mahomes hasn't been very consistent. Like, he's been turning the ball over so many times, and that's not what a real 9-0 team does.
Mm-hmm.
That's just me.
But so you're expecting, we have the big matchup, this coming week, the Bills Chiefs. You're expecting the Bills to win that one.
I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I would say the refs are gonna bill the Chiefs.
Oh, Michael.
No, the Swifties. That's what's
The
going to do, right?
Swifties, dude.
Taylor Swift.
But that'll be interesting. Broncos will play the Falcons next week, so both teams will be earning for that victory. And the Chiefs Bills game, in Buffalo, and that's going to be a 4:25. And I would guarantee
A Jim Nantz
special. I love how Michael finished my sentence on that one. That's awesome. Honestly, that he just knows it. He knows what the deal is. That's for sure. But looking at some of the other results here from yesterday, and speaking of the Falcons, they go down in Nolans, Tony, 20-17. And that really surprised me. Obviously, the Saints, the emotion, the Riz as the interim head coach. Pretty disappointing loss for Atlanta, no?
Yeah, I would say so. Again, especially when, looking at Atlanta, obviously you can, records can speak for themselves, but just in general, Falcons, Saints, you would imagine, Cousins can just get the job done. I don't care if you're on the road or not. This was their first road loss, by the way. And I know you could sit here and say a divisional game, it's always tough, whatever. You still would have fully expected the Falcons to figure it out. And again, I guess, I don't know, Cousins, not a terrible game. 306 yards to the ground, 23 of 38, but the one interception, didn't have any passing touchdowns. And I think that interception was in the red zone. I could be wrong. But again, just not getting anything done through the air, not enough scoring. Saints let them stick around. They figure it out. Carr pumped up. I don't know. Saints head coach seemed pretty happy after the game. He was saying how for the first time, we've been seeing a lot of things go right. Yes, a lot to work on, but this is a great building block for the team. Seems pretty positive. Backs up Derek Carr. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to envision this turning into something.
Right.
But, sometimes, these teams look at this as an opportunity. Who knows, one game at a time. And I think the most important thing for the Saints is, who's going to be a part of this team moving forward. We know Alvin Kamara is, but it's who else is? You traded Marshawn Lattimore. And despite Carr having a good game here, I don't see how you bring him back next year. So I just think there's a lot of guys currently playing on this team that most likely aren't going to be on the team next year.
Really? You think Carr's not around?
It's just one of those things. What do we? Should the Giants have him be their quarterback next year and then ease in their rookie? I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so.
It's but right. You really. My question to you is if you're the Saints, you're earning to get back to the playoffs. You've struggled since Peyton and Breeze left town. What are you going to do with Derek Carr? You could really win playoff games. That's what I just don't really see happening.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Obviously someone who's also always struggled to stay healthy or missed some games this year.
Interceptions.
4 of them, over 7 games. That's not great.
How funny is this? Talking about, I think, a little jumping the gun and listen, maybe I do stuff like this with the Yankees, but Ernie is saying Green Bay over Kansas City in the Super Bowl bucket. Wow. Listen, I like what the Packers are building over there, but I don't know if Jordan Love is ready to beat the Lions in the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know about that one either. It would definitely take a miracle, and then not only to make it to the Super Bowl, but then he wants them to beat the Chiefs in the
Yeah.
Super Bowl. Yeah.
You don't want to lose your shirt betting on that one.
Oh.
And then he says Carr will be around until they get a top 5 pick. And yeah, so I mean, it would be of their benefit.
I mean, they
not
could this
to-
year.
Yeah, not to win many more of these games. Any concern here if you're Atlanta? I mean, they're still 6-4, still in the driver's seat in the division.
They are.
But what do you think?
I mean, concern, I guess I would be maybe a little bit in terms of winning the division. I have to look at the rest of the schedules for them and the Bucks, but I know Mike Evans could be back as soon as next week. So, and you would imagine, I mean, Baker having Mike Evans back is going to come back with some ferocity, I would imagine.
Now what? They're
4-6 right now. They're second in the division behind Atlanta.
Last grasp
here. And I mean, I'm sure we'll break down the Bucks game too, but not for nothing, Baker, like on his own the past couple of weeks, has been putting up like quite the fight each week. You know, I know they've been getting losses.
It's a shame.
It really is a shame, dude. But again, I mean, this late push, like, could win the division, have momentum going in the postseason. And again, with the way Atlanta maybe has been looking, for me personally, I've never been that hot on Atlanta all year, regardless of them being 6-4 and in charge of the division. I do like Robinson, but I don't know, man. I mean, I guess Kyle Pitts, Darnell Mooney, the receivers are there, but I don't know. They just never really impressed me. I don't like Kirk Cousins that much. And that's where I'm at with the Falcons. So I would have some concern.
It seems like you're earning for that Bucs
Baker
run.
Dude. Yes, I really am, dude. Like, I'm really pulling for that.
Speaking of the Bucs, you mentioned 4-6. They do lose at home to the Niners yesterday, 23-20. So gave him a fight. Baker actually did not throw for many yards here, only 116. A lot of checkdowns, 18-29. Did have one passing touchdown to Rashad White. They ran the ball for 110 yards. Played some good defense and kept Christian McCaffrey at bay. No touchdowns, and only ran for 39 yards. But did have 6 catches for 68 yards. So kind of a weird game. Brock Purdy threw for a lot of yards, 25-36, 2 scores. So the Niners, the tough start, all the injuries. Now everybody's back other than Ayuk. We know he's out for the season. But the Bucs really gave them a run for their money. So what do you make of this? I mean, San Francisco, obviously a Super Bowl team last year. Most of the same guys back this year. I mean, I think this was a big win for them, but I think the key is just going to be seeing next couple of weeks, what are we seeing? Because they're obviously very inconsistent to begin the year, but they were missing a lot of talent.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I guess that's really what it was. They were just playing a lot with different guys, now they kind of have to find their way, get the chemistry back up, which again, you would imagine. I mean, Brock Purdy just literally going to work yesterday. But I think, like you said, the more they play together, McCaffrey maybe more 100%. Same thing with Debo. Was it Debo that was getting into like a
with the kicker,
the placeholder, the holder, right?
The punter.
So I think they missed
a
field goal.
Yeah, he probably thought he didn't have a good.
Which is, but like that's not a good look, dude.
Yeah,
like not for nothing.
Not.
Like that's not good. So
I
don't know what's going on in that locker room. Maybe we should be worried, maybe not. But I would imagine Shanahan kind of gets it under control a little bit. So I think the Niners will be on their way.
And I'm going to take a look at the Niners schedule in a second, but you want to talk about an opportunity for the run for Baker?
Really?
Bye week, at Giants, at Panthers, home to Raiders, now at Chargers, but then at Cowboys, home to Panthers, home to Saints. So, I mean, you win all those games other than the Chargers game. I mean, you're probably going to find yourselves in the playoffs.
Yeah, 6-1, 5-2.
Yeah, maybe winning the division. So,
dude.
Evans being back is key because I think that changes, the whole complexion of the
I mean, of course, dude. I mean, you talked about Baker with all the checkdowns. I mean, he's throwing to Rashard White downfield. Like he has no targets, especially when you get to a team like the Niners that has, a competent secondary.
Right.
Obviously, a good rush up front with Bosa. And Baker just had people in his face all day,
exactly,
which is wild, dude. But it's still, he was, again, that gritty game. I don't know if you saw, he gave Bosa a nice stiff arm for like a good couple minutes,
I didn't
dude.
See that. Yeah.
Which was dope. But again, I mean, Baker, I would imagine will play with a fire under his ass next week. And like you said, he's probably licking his chops looking at that schedule. So let's go. Dude.
Yeah, exactly. And upcoming for San Francisco, they have their rivalry game with the Seahawks. So that's a home game, 4:05 on Fox. and that'll be followed up 2 trips to Lambeau Field in Buffalo before they return home for the Bears and the Rams. So some tests there for sure. But games that they have the talent, to win. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that all plays out. And then an ever important, rematch of the NFC Championship game, Week 17, Monday Night Football, against the Detroit Lions. So that is going to be huge.
Where is that game?
That game is in Santa Clara, Michael.
Oh, it's in Northern California.
Northern
No.
California.
Oh no.
No, we don't.
Oh,
wanna go
hell
there,
no.
dude.
Yeah. No, Barnes.
Yeah.
You don't do that. You just don't do that.
You don't
That's
go
for
there, dude.
sure.
We like Southern California.
We like Southern
Party.
California. You know who's from Southern California because he played at USC? Sam
Cole?
Darnold.
Whoa.
The quarterback
Yeah.
of the Minnesota
Yeah, he
Vikings.
is,
And he was looking like Zach Wilson on the field yesterday. But his Vikings are 7-2, despite him throwing 3 interceptions. They ran for 169 yards on the ground. Aaron Jones leading the way with 88 on his own. And this is against a Jacksonville team. Sans Trevor Lawrence, return of the Mac in Jones there. And he obviously didn't have a good game either. So the 2 quarterbacks combining for 5 picks, no touchdowns. So kind of interesting. The Vikings were kind of everybody's darling. I think it was the 5-2 start or 5-0 start. And then they lose those 2 games. They've won the last couple, but this kind of win, I mean, I guess it's good to get the win. But I think moving forward, you're going to have to play a lot better, if you want to be a contender in the NFC, because Jacksonville at 2-8 will not be one of your playoff opponents.
No, definitely not. And obviously, they're pretty lucky that they were the opponent this weekend.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what you just chalk it up to. Like, just forget about this game and just move on.
And then just relax because your next 2 games are at the Titans, at the Bears.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if you're Darnold, you can throw more picks if you want and probably still win. But,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're Darnold, you want to, keep it a little tight here. I don't know what went down in his head. But regardless, be great if we got the win. And then, yeah, just like next week, dude.
But I have to say, I mean, I know you can't go off one game. You have to go by the whole season.
Yeah, of course.
But I don't see how they stack up with the better teams in the NFC. You know what I mean? Like, I think, yes, they will get at least their wild card, Tony, but I just can't see them winning a playoff game.
Wait, who?
The Vikings.
Really? Though?
It's hard to predict that. I mean, I don't think so either.
I mean, let's say if they're a wild card team, who do you think they're gonna? What are they gonna play? Like,
they would play the worst division winner, which is going to be the South. So I guess if they did play Tampa or Atlanta, but come on, with Baker, you wouldn't take Sam Darnold over Baker.
I mean, if Baker goes on the run, yeah, dude. That's what I'm rooting for now, because obviously Jets aren't going to go anywhere. Like, I'm rooting for the run, dude.
No, but honestly, I've always enjoyed Mike Evans, what he's done, and Baker. It has been compelling for sure. So I would like to see that, because that's those type of things are fascinating to watch. So we'll have to see what happens. We'll see, if the bye week and they kind of, get their stuff together here. What did Ernie say?
I said, that was the last. Carr will be back. Will be around.
Gotcha. Pick. The Chargers 27-17 over Tennessee yesterday. Will Levis back 2 touchdowns. Actually didn't look terrible. But the Chargers now are 6-3, under Jim Harbaugh here. Justin Herbert didn't have to do much, 14 of 18, 164 and a passing touchdown. Also had a rushing touchdown. As a team, they ran for 145 on the ground. I mean, the defense playing well. I think this is a team that is potentially a sleeper. I know, there are some things they can improve upon, but that defense, Harbaugh, I think they could potentially upset somebody in the playoffs. What were you going to say, Michael?
How are the Chargers this good with them? No Keenan Allen, no Mike Williams, and no Eckler. How is this possible?
I just said his name, Harbaugh.
Well, the thing is, it's not an easy transition from college to the pro. That's all I'm saying.
But I think the difference is that he already has the experience of coaching the NFL before with the Niners.
But the Chargers have nobody for their wide receivers.
So you think they're upsetting nobody in the playoffs, Michael?
Yes, no. The Chargers always are known for choking in the playoffs. So
what if it's the battle of the chokers, Chargers Bills?
I think the Bills are winning that game.
Nah, probably.
I don't know.
And
I was
plus,
trying to just think of like who they would play.
and plus, we all know that the Chargers are such a mediocre and low-key franchise. We all know that by a fact.
No, I
Wow,
mean,
dude.
listen, like obviously the move to LA in terms of fan interest wasn't a good one, but I think they got it right with the quarterback, got it right with the coach.
Yeah.
The defense is good. Plus, I think you're a little, not giving enough credit to the skill room. And I know it was vastly different last year with Mike Williams and Keenan Allen, but Ladd McConkey, the rookie from Georgia,
God,
he's
that
looked
guy's-
good.
Yeah.
Joshua Palmer, maybe more of a 3 receiver, but is explosive.
Quentin
And
Johnson.
then Quentin Johnson has been a bust
Yeah.
so far, but
Yeah.
this year
Last 2
has
weeks.
had some good moments, had the touchdown catch in this one, and then you think about J.K. Dobbins. So there is, talent there, and I think when you have a quarterback like Justin Herbert, who I know hasn't reached his full potential, but he can make guys that maybe you don't feel as highly rated guys play better than you think they're capable of because of how good he is and how good Harbaugh is. So I think they are a team to watch.
Hey Barnes, but I do think the Bengals will beat them on Sunday night. I do think the Bengals are due for a win.
Bengals are due, but boy, does it seem like everything just goes wrong for them, though.
Yeah, dude, it really does this year, huh?
Oh, by the way, and I know what you guys are going to say, and I will agree with you on this, but if the season were to end right now, the first game of the playoffs for the Chargers would be in Pittsburgh.
Yep, I saw that.
So I
That's not
guess
good.
really what it would be is the Chargers need to get the 5 seed, and I think they would beat Houston.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's a tough
probably
their
road
best
for them.
matchup.
Yeah.
How long is Stephon Diggs out for?
The year.
Okay, so the Texans are in shambles.
I would say shambles.
Shambles. I mean, you got Stroud.
Got Stroud. who
They
can
are on a 2-game
really throw
losing
that
streak
ball.
right now, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Wait, aren't they on a 3-game losing streak? I mean,
I don't think so.
they were 6-1,
thought
I
it-
think, right? Wait,
No,
check.
I-
All right, we're checking right now.
They are on a 2-game losing
they
streak.
beat
Okay.
the
They've
Colts.
lost 3 out of 4.
Yeah, 3
lost
out
to
of 4.
Ernie's Packers.
Ernie boy.
And they lost to the Jets.
The only team they've beaten
Ernie, buddy.
in like the last month has been the Colts. So,
Barnes,
It's tough, dude.
what is the Texans' remaining schedule look
Monday
like?
Night Football, Cowboys next week
To win.
in Dallas.
Yeah, that's a win.
Win.
Home to Titans.
Win.
Dub.
Jags.
Win.
9-4.
Dolphins.
Win.
10-4.
At Chiefs.
Lost.
Lost.
10-5.
Against Ravens. Lost.
10-6.
And then at Titans. Win.
So-
11 wins.
So they're basically an 11-win team if you think of it.
But you guys would take them over the Chargers, though, hosting the Chargers.
Yeah,
Wildcard
yeah.
weekend.
I just would, man.
They-
Because the Chargers are known for choking.
Yeah,
Because-
but I don't know. Maybe I feel like
Yeah, that's all I'm saying.
I think, but I don't know. It depends on what obviously both teams are looking at
That's what I'm
that
saying.
time. But I'm thinking right now, I would think at the end of the day, it's like CJ Stroud who can command the field more so
can.
than Herbert.
He can.
So I think, like the Chargers would have to be like just stopping the Texans like every drive. Like it
Mhm.
cannot be like 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter and like Texans are down by a touchdown or even down by 10 even, like they could score twice, they really could and take a lead, something like that. So I don't know. We'd have to see. But right now I would still go with the Texans.
I think it was going to be a good game, but I just think
yeah.
the Chargers overall a better team. But we'll see. A lot of season left.
Yeah.
It doesn't feel like there's a lot of season left for Dallas. They get
No.
blown out at home, 34-6. Dak out for the season. Eagles now 7-2. Almost seemed like they were kind of just playing around yesterday. Like I feel like they could have even beaten them down even more.
Yeah.
But my question to you guys is, how good is this Eagles team?
Yeah.
I
don't
mean,
know, dude.
Well, the Eagles have to play a real team. Then,
yeah. I mean,
then
I don't know.
rate them.
I mean, I've had Hurts on my fantasy team all year.
The
and, like,
rushing touchdowns, Tony.
I mean, it's good, but like
it's
again,
like great. The passing yardage are a little tight.
yeah, a little tight, dude. But I think this week was, I think, one of his best weeks. 30 points,
Yeah.
whatever. And he even gets taken out with like 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, whatever it was. So, I mean, obviously he was making minced meat of the Cowboys defense. But yeah, I think maybe talk to me next week after the Commanders game. Because I understand, they're obviously their record is good, 7-2. Like they got the job done, even though beginning of the year, Brown was out. And so who else was out?
Smith missed a little time.
Oh,
as
that's
well.
right. Devonta Smith was out for a little bit. Obviously, riding the coattails of Barkley's phenomenal years so far, which is why they're doing well, I think would probably be the biggest thing. But yeah, I don't know. I think come talk to me next week and see how they do against the Commanders. A really good team.
Barnes, what is the Commanders' remaining schedule? Let's
Well,
go over
that matchup on Thursday. So it's crazy how quick that game is sneaking up on us.
I think that's going to be a loss
for
Washington.
Really?
Washington. Okay. Interesting. I wouldn't be surprised either.
Next up.
And then it's bye week. Or no, is it a bye week? No, it's not.
No, it's not.
No, it's not a bye week,
not a
but
bye
it's
week.
home to Cowboys.
Win.
Home to Titans.
Win.
At Saints.
Win.
10-4.
Eagles. Maybe lost.
Maybe lost.
Falcons, Cowboys win. So, I mean, they're losing what? 2 more games the rest of the way.
So they're going to be a
that means
12-win
that they're
team.
winning 12 games, which is
This is a 12-win team.
quite
Barnes.
the feat.
Yeah, that is quite the feat.
Barnes,
dude.
now,
Quite the turnaround for the Washington.
let me ask you a trivia question.
Uh-oh.
Where did Jaden Daniels go to college?
Jaden Daniels went to LSU.
Yes, he did.
Wow.
Where'd Malik Neighbors go?
LSU?
There he is, right?
I had to take a theme over there, dude.
But what I was gonna say quickly, Tony,
Yeah, with the
is,
Eagles?
No, with the Eagles, just the tone I'm getting for you is I think you're thinking if they get the opportunity that the Bucks will once again knock them off.
Yes, dude.
Weekends.
Absolutely. I mean, again, dude, and then not for nothing, the locker room, Sirianni. I don't know, man. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Where is the respect for Sirianni?
True.
Where's the
true.
locker room at right now? I
But-
don't know.
Part of me thinks though maybe Saquon has kind of
Oh yeah,
some of those
I'm
things.
sure he has. I'm sure he has. Saquon has that demeanor, that like calm, collected demeanor of just getting the job done. Doesn't really matter. Don't worry about it. So I would imagine that he is creating a sense of calmness in the locker room with certain players. But again, I just feel like that roster from what we've seen. I mean, I feel like if one thing goes wrong, it's like a ticking time bomb.
No, I agree. It is a shame though because you don't want to waste Saquon. He was wasted in New York. Obviously, they're gonna be a playoff team, but
They are good,
in a way, I would like to see them win a playoff game or two just to see Saquon kind of go off. Like it is fun watching him run the ball.
Playoffs gonna be pretty wild.
Yeah,
dude.
they are.
The competitiveness.
You know who will be in the playoffs? The Arizona Cardinals. You know who won't? The New York Jets. 3-7, getting shellacked 31-6. I don't think anywhere on any planet, on any day at this point, Aaron Rodgers is telling anybody to relax.
No.
I mean, what a shit show, huh?
I mean, it's just beyond clear now that it's just like not.
And
not
like,
working
I
out,
don't
dude. It's
care
not
what
working
the
out, dude.
scenario
Doesn't
is. I don't
matter.
care if Vince Lombardi comes back from the dead. I think and you wasted time, you wasted capital, whatever. Parting of the ways with Rodgers.
Has to.
This is like the Giants. I was making that parallel before. Let's do this the right way. Fire Douglas. Obviously, don't retain Albrecht. I want a completely new staff. And you got to draft a quarterback. That's it. I know. Oh, you can't develop one? Well, fucking do it because what else are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
Tony?
No, exactly. I mean, there is no other answer. Like this was your answer to not being able to develop a quarterback. Let's get Aaron Rodgers, and like not for nothing, like it's not working like at all in the slightest bit. So
let's get Aaron Rodgers. Let's get a bunch of like decent players, but older players, and let's have a terrible coaching staff. But then it'll all work, right?
I mean, I just don't. Yeah, exactly. It's just a total shit show. And I mean, not for nothing. Like the Cardinals, I know they have had a lot of tough losses, but again, they beat the Texans, the Jets. So it's like, oh, maybe like a little something. The run, there is no run here.
For the Cardinals, you're saying?
No, for the Jets.
For the Jets. Yeah. Oh, because you're saying beating the Texans.
They beat the Texans. Yeah.
No, exactly. There is no run. But also,
fire.
I think for the first time in a few years, I mean, I think the Cardinals are actually legit. And I know that the Jets are in shambles, but I mean, Murray, 22 of 24, 266 touchdown. They ran for 147, and I know he didn't have a great game, but I love the way James Conner runs the football. He had a touchdown. Murray with 2 rushing touchdowns. And I feel like they yet still have not completely unlocked Marvin Harrison Jr. He did have a touchdown, 5 for 54 yesterday. And then Trey McBride is one of the best tight ends in the league. So I think there's a lot of talent there. What's the defense going to do? I don't think this can be a litmus test because the Jets are just in dismay.
Their offense is terrible.
6 points is 6 points allowed. What's that?
What is the Cardinals' remaining schedule? Let's check that.
Our favorite segment, the win-loss game.
The win-loss
I love that game.
So they're on the bye.
Okay.
And then at Seattle, win.
Yeah.
At Vikings, win.
No.
Loss. Go
Really?
Vikings. Yep.
But we agree on Seattle?
7.
Yeah, I think so.
7-5.
Mm-hmm.
7-5. And then home to Seattle.
Sweep
I
Seattle.
think win.
That's
Yep.
8-5.
Home to Patriots.
Win.
9-5.
At Panthers.
Win.
7-5.
At Rams, I think loss.
Loss.
10-6.
And then
Niners.
I think guys are not
Loss.
really because they're 5-4.
Loss.
10-7. But
That's a playoff
still,
team.
I mean, a nice turnaround from last year when a lot of people were saying, I mean, should the Cardinals even keep Kyler Murray?
And I mean, after another like 10-7, like how many wins do you think the Niners end with? You know, like are they
Probably around 10 or 11,
right? Like they could actually win that division.
They
if
could.
Yeah.
They could.
Which would be
So,
kind of wild.
I
to
mean, I
about,
think
dude.
Jonathan Gannon has done a good coaching job this year.
Gannon?
Really, yeah.
Wait, who? Who's the Cardinals coach? Who's the Cardinals coach?
Jonathan
Gannon.
Gannon.
Who's he?
No, it's not Gannon, right?
Gannon.
Gannon. Wait, what's that?
Who is this dude?
He was I think the Eagles defensive
Gannon.
coordinator, right?
Oh, okay.
Tony? Or no?
He was the Eagles defensive coordinator from really?
I mean, go to his Wikipedia. It'll show us.
Let's go Wikipedia here.
On the right, what is it?
Defensive coordinator,
Oh,
Eagles,
there
2021,
we go.
2022.
Barnes,
Yes.
Michael.
Before that, D-backs coach,
do you
Colts.
think the Seahawks are making the playoffs?
No.
No,
Yeah, same. I agree.
absolutely not.
Yeah, just the injuries are tough, and I don't know. Maybe Gino, had a little cup of coffee.
Too many cups of coffee.
They've lost 5 out of their last 6.
Yeah, 3-0 start. That's tough.
It is despicable.
The Lions, after losing their first game, are now 8-1, and they win a game 26-23, where their quarterback threw not 1,
5
not
picks.
2, not 3, not 4, but 5 interceptions, Michael. And there was some stat about the Texans losing a game where they had 5 interceptions, all of that. Kind of insane. And I never really, even though he's had a great year, but a lot of people were talking about Goff MVP. A lot of people on the radio this morning were saying, despite the win, the 5 picks, with the numbers, I don't think anybody's ever won the MVP with a 5 interception game that season. So like, what do you take away from this? I mean, obviously, Goff has been really good this year. So it's like, I think this is the exception. But is it more like, wow, I mean, this Detroit, they're a tough team to put away. Even if they give you the ball 5 times, it's still tough to beat them.
And it is. I mean, they have so much. I feel like they have so much like good talent around the rest of their roster. I mean, not for nothing, you're looking at Jahmyr Gibbs, 71 yards on the ground, and then look at David Montgomery, getting the job done, as well, backing him up. And that 1-2 punch for running backs is tough on any defense. Not to mention, your tight end. I know, again, like Goff didn't have it all there, but the defense got the job done, I would say. I mean, at the end of the day, Texans obviously great offense. You're watching this game. Yes, they gave up a lot of points, 26 points in the first half, but then you shut out the Texans second half. That's huge for your defense.
Also, though, I mean, you guys are telling me the Texans are winning a playoff game, and I mean, it's like they're losing a game where they get 5 interceptions. And I don't know. It just doesn't feel like it's trending in the right direction. That's all I'm saying. I think Lions are a superpower. I understand that, but this is a playoff type of game, so that's why I am not feeling, especially the Texans coming off losing to the Jets the week before. That's why, I love Stroud. Love D'Amico Ryans, but I think this is that tough second year following up the surprising rookie year.
Yeah, no, I mean, if there's anything indicative of that, it is this game. This first half was Stroud's first year, second half of the game, sophomore year, struggling, no doubt. But I don't know. I would anticipate them figuring that out, honestly.
Barnes.
Yeah,
got,
I mean, I love Stroud. I think he's going to be a star, but I just think this is part of growing as a quarterback, growing pains.
Barnes, let's go over the Steelers' remaining schedule. Let's do it.
By the way, Antonio
very
Cummings
interested.
says, "Fly, Eagles, fly." So he's happy
Wow.
about the Birds' 7-2 start. Per Michael's request, we will take a look at the Pittsburgh Steelers' upcoming schedule. We know about the Ravens game. So I mean, we could say that's a win. I think that's a toss-up.
think that's a win.
At the Browns, win.
Okay, 9-2.
At Cincinnati could be a loss. But I think
9-3.
And then the Browns, I think, is
That's
another win.
That's 10-3.
At the Eagles is interesting.
That's a loss.
Wow. Okay.
Loss.
I would think that's a win.
I think that's a win, but then at Ravens, probably loss.
Because I think Hurts, Eagles, just it's not going to be that
I'm
great.
I
team.
think the
So
defense
here's what I'm
bottles
saying.
them up. Interceptions. We saw that become a problem last year.
So here's my thoughts.
What do you got?
I'm saying Pittsburgh's going to win at least one out of the 2 games out of the Eagles and the Ravens game. At least one game. So we could do a toss-up. It's a toss-up. So say the 11-4.
Wow.
But yeah, Chiefs and
Loss,
Bengals to
loss.
finish out the year. So
I'm saying this is a 12-win team.
So I mean, you have to beat the Browns twice,
No
and
doubt.
you really have to split with the Bengals.
You kind of want to beat the Bengals twice, to be honest.
No,
though,
I'm saying minimum split with the
Yeah,
Bengals.
yeah.
But I think you're better than the Eagles and the Chiefs potentially also. We have to keep in mind maybe don't have to play
Loss.
for anything there. But then again, it's week 17, not 18. Usually teams are full go at that point.
And like also not for nothing. I mean, if they're undefeated, like
Yeah,
don't
they're
you
gonna
think they're gonna
go
try
for
and
it.
go for it all?
Yeah. I mean, you would think. I mean, we've seen teams like, remember it was what was it? The Colts and it was the Colts and the Saints. I know the Saints just lost, but the Colts actually pulled Peyton Manning, Tony. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
They were 13-0, I think playing the Jets, actually.
Really?
And they pulled Manning off the field because everything was locked up and they didn't care about going undefeated. And then
Wow.
they ended up losing the
that
Super
game.
Bowl
Oh,
to
losing.
they lost the game, but they lost the Super Bowl to the Saints. The onside kick, the Manning
Oh,
interceptions.
Yep.
So kind of
Not
interesting
good.
when you think about it like that. So that's all the games from yesterday. One more game left for week 10 here. Dolphins and Rams. We've seen some fluctuation with this line, but right now it sits at Rams -2.5. I was kind of internalizing, going back and forth with this one. And it's one of those things where I feel like the Rams are going to win, but then there's just that part of me that feels like the Dolphins are due. What do you guys think?
No, I don't think the Dolphins
Really?
will do. I think it's gonna be Rams all day. They
Um,
cover easily. Don't even worry about it.
So you're giving
Um,
TCA the 3-0 week.
No, I mean, what do we want, dude? This is how I feel, okay? This is what I think's gonna
Tony.
happen. All right, dude. I think Nakua hasn't even gone off yet,
You already
and
won fantasy, Tony. It's okay.
and I just think, I mean, the Rams 3-game win streak, like, they are starting to roll
No,
now.
I agree.
And they did the same thing last
I
year
agree.
too,
I agree.
So
I
and then
do.
Miami,
I know what
Not
what
good.
you're saying. I guess it's though, like I favor the Rams, but all I'm saying is I'm not gonna be like, oh my god, like fall out of my seat if the Dolphins end up winning though.
I would
either.
be.
But just because like
I'd be
you still have Hill, I can't believe I said Hill. I'm thinking of
Luis
Hill. But yeah, but I will, we'll do our official pick, but I do agree with you on that. I just think there is some sense of doubt that it's like a guaranteed win for the
If
Rams.
you had to put a percentage on the doubt,
I think it's like between a 55 and 60% confidence for me. What about for you?
interesting.
Like in terms of winning
of
the
them
game.
winning,
Yeah.
55 to 65, you say
To 60.
to 60.
Yeah.
I would go easily 75%.
Michael, what do you think here?
Percentage. Rams win.
Testing. Okay. I think the Rams have a 70% chance of winning tonight.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
I
No,
think
and
Rams
now,
win.
Interesting because
Rams
ESPN
win.
puts them at 55%.
No, but
by the way.
27-17.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, we're gonna have you repeat that
Okay,
thought in a
sorry.
second.
I didn't even hear it.
Let's do a Monday Night Football frenzy.
Oh, baby. Let's go,
Here we
baby.
go.
Monday night capping of week 10 here. It's 8:15 p.m. now. The Rams are the deal. -2.5. We set the line over under 48.5. Rams, I mentioned, a 3-game win streak. Things are rolling. People are healthy. Stafford's looking great, I guess. Tua and the Dolphins, not so much at 2-6. Brian, are the Rams above 500? Come to Virginia.
I think so, but I think this is going to be a close game. I think you have thoughts of kind of a more dominant win,
Yep.
but I think a lot of points. I like the over here, but I definitely like the Rams to win. I think they'll win by a touchdown, but I just think Stafford through the air with Nakua, with Kupp. I think Kyron Williams also has a good game on the ground. I think the Dolphins will look to push the ball down the field, use their speed. But the Rams, the Stafford, the 2-minute drill at the end of the game, I think they will win this game 31-24. So the Rams and the over.
I love that pick there. So give me the Rams as well. Obviously, you know the deal, and I think it will be an emphatic victory. I just think it's going to be I think Stafford's just going to be spreading the field, dude. It's going to be Kupp. It's going to be Nakua, Robinson, okay? Xavier Smith, dude. And I think it's just going to be offense all day, all night long, dude. Things get ugly. Dolphins, I don't know. Maybe Tua goes like for 220 through the air, maybe a couple touchdowns, but a couple picks as well. Tyreek Hill, body language tight. Dolphins 2-7. I say Rams win this game. I'm going to say 28-14. So what is that? That is Rams in the under.
Rams in the under, and Michael to finish it off.
So this is kind of a mismatch because the Dolphins are in shambles, Tony.
That's right.
So I'm saying this game might be tight, but at the end of the day, I have got the Rams winning 27-17.
And just like that, that is your Monday Night Football Frenzy. And because we're all on the Rams, it'll be fun tomorrow recapping the Dolphins victory, because that's usually how it goes. Not that I believe it or I'm expecting it, but I'm saying, doesn't that happen a lot? The preview shows, everybody's on one team.
But it was the opposite way.
But also, I because especially Stafford is, getting a little older now. I like you talk about the Baker run. I have to say myself, I am rooting for the Stafford
run.
Yeah.
I mean, they were pretty close last year, just couldn't obviously get over the hump
against the Lions.
The Lions,
yeah. So you think about that. Lions then go to the NFC Championship big game. Maybe the Rams go instead. We've seen them beat the Niners before, so something to consider. Could have been a special season in Southern California, Tony.
But it wasn't.
But it wasn't.
I'm saying the Rams finish the season off with 9 wins.
9 wins, so that'll be teetering.
They're going to lose some games that they should win.
Let's see here. So I would say, so if we give them the win tonight, and that's 5, and then the Patriots would be 6. Lose to the Eagles.
No, I think the Patriots game's a loss because the Patriots did just win against
doesn't matter.
the Bears. So
Tony doesn't want to hear it.
No, I don't think so.
Well, I hope
against
not.
the Bears. I don't know.
But I can see them losing to the Eagles. Okay, so 6-5, but then beating the Saints. So that'd be 7-5. Losing to the Bills
7-6
would be 7-6. Losing to the Niners
7-7.
But then winning their last 3 games: Jets, Cardinals, Seahawks. There we go.
Yeah,
just like that, right? But if we could, Tony, a quick sprint to the world of the National Hockey League.
Here he comes. McDavid shoots. Top shelf. He scores. Captain with the overtime winner. That's the nail crack. That's a world-class hit right here. Tomsky stepping. Rink made the full split save.
Are you kidding me?
Turn. Side of the net, between the legs, and they score! Filthy! David Pasternak, the silver trophy to the Golden Knights!
All right. So the Rangers rebounding in Detroit Saturday night with a shutout victory 4-0. Jonathan Quick, 37 saves in the shutout. Turning back the clock, you had goals from Panarin and Kreider. And it was interesting. We were talking about this before the show. Wasn't a clean win other than, Quick getting the shutout, but nevertheless, it is a win. And it was nice after that atrocious performance in Buffalo. And you also had VC and Riley Smith with goals as well. But what was your takeaway, Tony, here, the 4-0 win in Detroit?
I mean, listen, Jonathan Quick here, just remains to be that guy.
Right.
That veteran tender that just continues to just put everything else he has left in the tank out on the line there. And for him to come in here, and we haven't really seen too much of him, this year at all. And obviously Igor has been great. So, even more so why we haven't seen him that much. But to come in, Joe Flacco, just coming in, ready to go off the couch, dude. Yeah, it is. I mean, it clearly is. He's still got a lot going on for him.
Both champions, also good parallel.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. The parallels, Brian. And then again, 37 saves. I mean, Detroit was getting a lot of shots on net too. I mean, Rangers, they have the past couple of games struggling to get things past the neutral zone. They had a lot of giveaways. They had 20 giveaways as a team. Which is a lot. And like I said, having that issues going through the neutral zone, saved by, I guess, like I said, Jonathan Quick, power play opportunities, sloppy play by the Red Wings as well. But again, you expect more, I guess. It's crazy to sit here and be like, because Detroit's not a bad team, Rangers win 4-0, and you're still not happy. Again, just to kind of, I guess, talk about how much expectation you have of this game, of certain guys. I mean, I know they're 9-3-1. And this is a good victory, but it does still feel like you want to improve, like on your 5-on-5 play a little bit more, and just being a little bit more dominant, like just having like hard shifts in your offensive zone here, where it just seems like you're controlling play, you're playing at your pace, and it's the other team that's back on their toes, But it just seems like even though we're scoring goals and Quick looks good, like he's forced to make big plays.
Because you're not dominating possession.
Exactly, dude. And again, I mean, I'm always that guy who will talk about how you'll see a goaltender make a big save, and then all of a sudden you get a push from that line that's on the ice right now that ends up scoring. Good defense, good goaltending turning into offense. I want to see just the good offense in general. Come out on this game like firing like right away. And I just feel like past couple of games, everyone's seen that. Obviously, you don't want to take it with a grain of salt. A win is a win, Brian. And the scoring, scoring summary there, Kreider gets it going on the power play. I mean, that's what you want to see out of Kreider on the power play.
He started out strong this year.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's great there. Netting his 8th goal there, getting the job done. I mean, again, maybe you want to see more 5-on-5 play. But, for the first period, that was all the scoring. Second period, yes, Jimmy Vesey nets his first goal of the year. That's great. Panarin keeps it going with his 10th. But then even so, like, you're up 3-0, and things, again, just kind of go, I don't want to say flat, but let's say flat, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I just think that there's something that needs to get them going a little bit more. Like they're not fired up.
And what is that? A big win against Winnipeg tomorrow?
That would be huge. They gotta get the job done, though. At the end of the day. Again, we talked about it last week a little bit in terms of leadership on the Rangers team. You got Jacob Trouba wearing that C still. It's,
So Trouba needs to be traded. That's what you're telling me.
I don't know, man. I mean, again, I don't know what that locker room would be like, even though, Trouba's, regardless, whatever with him, there's still a lot of, veteran talent that's been on the team forever. Kreider's Zibanejad, Trocheck, who we've seen Trocheck and Kreider seems like that they are leaderships, on the ice in the locker room anyway. So that's nice. But again, I don't you never know what it's like there, because that Trouba situation in the offseason looked like it was going to be like he was not going to be here,
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's an issue. Even I don't know. I mean, I would imagine Laviolette though is holding his guys accountable. Let's get jacked up. Winnipeg is going to be a fight, no doubt.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they're not seeing it like that. Maybe they're just like taking that one game at a time mentality. It's all right. It's a win. Let's move on to Winnipeg sort of deal. But I don't know. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that they're not seeing that it being a problem right now. They're just seeing the results and they're liking what they're seeing, so they're keeping it as is. But I mean, I just don't want to be out here against Winnipeg and get punched in the mouth, But
it's crazy. The other side of that, this could be turning point game of the season. It's funny we're talking about a team that's 9-3-1. You would think we're talking about a 500 team here, right? But we understand what we want to see.
Yeah.
And maybe playing against a team like Winnipeg brings out the best in the Rangers.
I would hope so. I mean, I don't want to, like that Buffalo loss is still like, it's still right there.
Yeah, that was absolutely brutal.
So I don't know. Igor's going to have to step up. I mean, you are playing the best team in hockey right now, best goaltender. Obviously, it's going to take a really great performance by your top guys to win on Tuesday. So, and I guess we'll see what happens here. But again, this is, I think, for the first time this year that you're going to see. I know we played the Panthers earlier in the year, but still it's like, oh, it's early. But this right now feels like, all right,
obviously, no matter what, you just want to win, and you want to represent yourself well.
Exactly.
And especially
while Brian's
being there. Yes, exactly. Yep. So I don't want to have a thing where I'm telling Matt it's not over yet.
Yeah. But what do you think? I mean, you're looking at this win. I mean, the usual suspects are in there. Smith getting a goal as well. I know it was empty netter, but that line looks good. I mean, how do you feel going into Winnipeg? Like going into the Garden against Winnipeg?
I mean, I just feel you're gonna have to take it up a level, maybe. Because coming into this, you're playing a team that's 14-1. I mean, that's huge. That you're going to have to be on the top of your game, and you're fired up because you really had a situation where I'm sure a lot of fans in attendance last time were leaving the game early because you played so bad. Maybe you feel like you owe that. So that's what I'm hoping, that it's not by pure – because, I mean, let's face it. I mean, up to this point especially, and even our talent comparison, I mean, Winnipeg kind of – seems like they're the better team. So
least
I
right
think
now.
for the Rangers, it's about proving that you are the better team. But as it comes to me, I mean, with this start and the things that we've seen, and like I said, it's not a bad start, but it just has brought some stuff to our attention. It comes back to like the offseason conversation about getting that guy. And obviously they haven't. So I think, again, the trade deadline remains important.
That's right.
But I think, like we like to talk about, this is going to be a big litmus test tomorrow.
Yeah. And I'm excited to watch the game. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So we do have a few games today. So if we could, Tony, a Monday night frenzy in the National Hockey League.
That is right. Quite a few games. I think we have 4 or 5, 6 on the docket
Light
here.
for us, honestly. We usually have 12.
Oh my God.
Frenzies.
Yep. And we're going to actually start pretty early here. Speaking of the loss to Buffalo, we're going to Buffalo here at noon 30. So in under an hour, we're going to be dropping the puck at the Key Bank Center,
So
Brian.
crazy.
It's kind of weird, right? On a Monday too, like I guess it's Veterans Day, maybe people are off. I don't know. But the Sabres, facing off against the Canadiens, a team not too far away from Buffalo. Montreal here, plus 180 on the money line, over under 6.5. Canadiens, we know, led by Nick Suzuki, 13 points. Cole Caulfield, though, not far behind him on the score sheet there. Tage Thompson, we know about him. We know about Buffalo. Their most recent game was a shootout win against Calgary. They're on a 3-game win streak. Canadiens have lost 5 of their last 5. I don't know. I mean, value bet, Canadiens, weird hour of the day.
It's
what do you got?
The biggest thing for me. I don't care about the losing streak and the value, the body clock. Every time there's one of these games, I always have to go with the underdog because weird stuff happens. I've seen it happen over and over and over again. I think the body clock matters. Suzuki hat trick, 5-4 Canadiens in a shootout, Tony.
Wow.
Canadiens in the over.
Canadiens in the over.
Plus 180. Take the Sabres.
I'm going to take the favorite. I have to. I'm going to take the Sabres. I've been hot on them even before they played the Rangers. Luukkonen's been killing it all year long. Canadiens, if I do say so myself, are just not a good team here, Brian, at 4-9. So Suzuki and Caulfield can score all they want. I think Sabres can get the job done offensively. And like I said, Luukkonen keeps them at bay. I think Sabres win maybe 4-2, 5-2. Sabres, and you're over there for sure. Next game, we're back to our normal time slot here, 7 p.m. in Philadelphia. Wells Fargo, Flyers, Sharks. Okay, the Sharks, speaking of value, plus 210 on the road here, which is interesting because they're 5-9-2. Flyers 5-8-2. So it's pretty interesting there. Over under is 5.5. So expecting low goal scoring. Sharks just beat the Devils 1-0. Flyers just lost to the Panthers. Surprisingly close. 4-3 shootout. What do you got?
This is one of those things where I'm guessing Vegas is telling us Flyers better than the record suggests. But I have to argue. I think the Flyers have been a dumpster fire. They're not a minus 250 favorite. And the reason why I have to go with San Jose here, and I know, yes, they have burned me before, but I think you look at a team like the Sharks, while they're not a good team, they're not going 0-82. These wins have to come somewhere, and it just seems like this is the type of game that they win. So I'm going to say Safari with 2 goals and an assist, 3-2 Sharks. Granlund, the game winner in regulation, 25 seconds remaining.
I do like that right there, dude. I think I'm going to take the Sharks as well. The value, Josh B. and Mackenzie Blackwood coming off his first shutout of the season.
The Devil goaltenders.
The former Devil goaltenders they have, kind of crazy. But also, I don't know. I just think, like you said, Flyers are a dumpster fire.
Yeah,
fumbling their draft pick last season. Their goaltender. What the hell, dude? There's no value there. He didn't want to play. I forget the guy's name, but he didn't want to play for the Flyers.
So they
drafted him. They got rid of him, dude. I forget. I'll look back into it, but yeah. And then it's just like absolute dumpster fire. And I think Sharks, I know they've been winning every other, but looks like they're getting some momentum here. Philly, I don't care. Give me Sharks. I'm going to say on the over, too. I
got the under. You got the over.
I got the over. Sharks in the over. I'll say, 4-3. Next game here, moving along, still 7 p.m. Obviously, Pittsburgh. The Penguins, Buck that doesn't even watch them anymore. They're taking on Dallas.
They're not good enough to watch.
Not good enough to watch at the PPG Paints Arena in Pittsburgh. The hell is that? Dallas minus 165, over under 6.5, expecting the scoring. Dallas just lost to Winnipeg 4-1. Penguins job done against Washington, surprisingly 4-2. What do you got here? I know you don't like the Stars, but
5 Penguins.
Whoa.
I think the Grizzled Vets, the Malkin Crosby combination. We know about the 90+% winning percentage when that happens. Penguins and the over here. And how about for Josh B? Evgeny Malkin with the hat trick.
No freaking way, dude. Jake Ottinger, dude. Second shutout
Matthew
of the year, dude.
Kevin Hayes, dude.
I say Stars. Going a little bit of a run here. They beat out the Penguins 4-0. Stars and the under. Matt Duchene, 2 goals and an assist in that game. Let's go 8:30 p.m. Where, Brian? The Scotiabank Saddle Dome in Calgary, baby. The Flames taking on the Kings. The Kings favored it here, minus 135, over under 5.5. Vegas expecting some good tenders here. Flames 2-game losing streak. Kings took care of business against Columbus at home. Now they're on the road. Calgary Kings have what it takes.
Yeah, I feel like Calgary, every time I pick them, they lose. So while I don't usually take the Kings, maybe after going to crypto.com to see them play.
You like the Kings.
I'm admiring them a little bit here. I mean, they've played well. I've been impressed so far. Kopitar, yes, Tony. Give them 2 goals and an assist. I'm going to say 4-2. So the Kings and the under for me.
Absolutely love that there. I think Kings. I think under as well. I think Darcy Kemper, someone who's been surprisingly good right now for the Kings, nets his second shutout here against a struggling Calgary team who was once off to a hot start, has now been extinguished. Kings, I would say, give me Quinton Byfield, okay? 2 goals and your only goal scorer for the night. Kings win 2-0. Kings in the under there. Next game getting later and later and later here. 9 p.m. in Colorado. The Avs are taking on the Predators at the Ball Arena. The Preds, obviously the dogs here, plus 125, over under 6.5. Both teams coming up with wins. Obviously, Avs, Preds. I think I know where you're going here. So tell me.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, this is actually probably my bet of the night. Ernie, lay the minus 145. Predators suck. And I think the Avs, even though they're 7-8, I think they're going to start turning the corner here. So I want to say Cale Makar, the rare hat trick from the defenseman. And that's all the scoring. Like Tony's theme here, all the scoring. 3-0 Avalanche and the under. Gorgie, a rare shutout.
Wow, Georgiev, a much needed shutout. And honestly, dude, I think I'm going to go with the Predators here. I think I'm going to take the value bet here. I know surprisingly here, but earlier this month, Predators took care of business 5-2 against the Avalanche at home. Stamkos had an actual rare good game, goal and assist in that performance. I think he follows it up here. I think maybe an outline performance here, Predators. I don't care who's in net. Could be a Noonan, could be Georgiev, could be Kakkonen over there. But I think it's going to be Stamkos, Hattie Boom Batty, looking like he's old. Tampa Bay Lightning, Stamkos churning back the clock. Predators win. I'll say 4-1. Saros looking good. Next game, final game, later, 10 p.m. in Vegas, Brian. Golden Knights taking on the Hurricanes at the T-Mobile Arena. Choker you'll be watching as Carolina is minus 140, over under 6.5. Golden Knights, tough OT loss to Seattle at 4-3. Hurricanes had their winning streak snapped by Colorado. I think it was a 7-game win streak. But I don't know, maybe that's like the typical on the win streak, the one loss, reset, get back to winning games. Is that what we see here tonight?
I like the value in Vegas with the home underdogs. I don't care about injuries, goaltenders. I just think Vegas is going to win. I think it's a close game. I'm going to say Vegas in the over, 4-3. Jack Eichel, the game winner in a shootout.
I love that call. And I know, obviously Knights undefeated at home, but they get their first loss tonight, dude. Hurricanes, late third period, Roslovic, Nets won, puts them up 4-3. Jack's doing well. Hurricanes and the over.
And just like that, that is your frozen frenzy. And we just keep churning along here.
Wow.
And I can't believe that it is almost high noon over here. So we're going to wrap up. But Michael Butka, it's been great having you here. Any words of wisdom for the fans out there on the way out?
All I can say is just live your life and just remember, Northern California sucks.
Very good there. Very good there.
There it is.
And then also, just wanted to give a shout out, Austin Eckroat, winning in El Diamante, Tony. Okay. A one-stroke victory, 9 under yesterday to get the job done. Bernard Langer also on the Champions, winning for the 18th straight year on the Champions Tour. The grizzled vet coming off the Achilles pickleball injury, and should be finally, because last year was supposed to be the time, teeing it up for the final time at Augusta National come the spring. So something to keep in mind. And I think we're going to be in Bermuda for the Butterfield Championship. So we'll talk about that as well.
This weekend, Bermuda?
Yeah.
Oh, let's go.
So I always kind of like that tournament, in the course. Royal Port or something. It's like something royal. I forgot what the exact name of it is. But and it's just obviously it's always special to win tournaments. So congratulations to Eckroat. That was his second PGA Tour title of the year. Port
Royal.
So the fall events, we get it. Not always juice, but it's important, and that locked him up a top 50 spot. Which gets him into the signature event. So that's huge.
Yeah, no, it is, dude.
Josh, be on the way out.
Josh, be on the way out. Great show. Fam. Love y'all.
Let's go. Love you too, buddy.
Feeling is mutual.
And good luck with the picks. I texted in the group the updated pick standings. I think, we are still holding form regardless of that result. But that being said, it has been an absolute pleasure. Thank you again, Michael. Great to have you here. Of course. And thank all of you for tuning in and continuing to comment, like, and subscribe. All of the archives in the YouTube page, Tony, Michael, Renee, and Jane. Costume, the merch, shitdowntimetv.com. Want everybody to enjoy the day, enjoy the games, and we will see you.
Hey guys, Tony here from Downtime TV checking in. I want to thank all our fans out there who's been liking, subscribing, sharing our content. You guys are the best. You guys are our bloodline. You make us love what we do. Thanks again.